Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a concept that is absolutely going to twist your brain into a pretzel, but, in the best possible way. We're unpacking this deeply mind-bending paradox, the idea that nothing is everything all at once. I mean, it sounds like an impossible riddle, right? But as we'll see, this single phrase is actually a master key. It unlocks ancient philosophy, cutting-edge quantum physics, blockbuster cinema, and honestly, even that daily peace of mind we're all desperately looking for. So let's just jump right in and explore this together.
Okay, let's dive into this. If you're looking at this and asking yourself, wait, how can an empty void contain all of existence? Your confusion is entirely valid. In our standard everyday way of thinking, an empty void is exactly that. It's empty, it's a zero, a total blank. But what if our definition of nothing has just been fundamentally flawed this entire time? To really resolve this paradox, we kind of have to completely dismantle how we view the universe and our place in it.
When we put nothing and everything side by side like this, they seem like absolute, total opposites. But the real secret to this paradox lies in how we perceive them. You see, we usually operate from a very narrow, ego-centered perspective, and from that limited viewpoint, nothing feels like a loss, right? And everything feels like overwhelming clutter. But when we shift our perspective to a more expansive, unified view of existence, the boundary between these two absolutes actually just dissolves. We start to see that the vast, empty potential of nothing is literally the exact same fundamental source from which everything arises.
So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start big with 1, the ultimate paradox, then move to 2, the spiritual blank canvas, explore 3, the quantum vacuum, look at pop culture in 4, the cosmic bagel, and finally wrap up in your own mind with 5, the eye of the storm. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the ultimate paradox, 2 sides of one coin. Now, what's really interesting about this is the core idea we need to establish right away. Void and existence aren't actually enemies fighting for space. They're essentially 2 sides of the exact same coin. Just adding a hyphen completely changes our baseline understanding of reality. We usually think of nothing as like a black hole, right? Just an absence of stuff. But I want you to redefine it right now in your mind as no thing. It's a state of pure, unformed potentiality. It's not that there's an empty void lacking existence. It's that there are no specific things yet. It's the fertile ground right before the seed sprouts. Once you see nothing as no thing, the whole paradox really starts to unravel. Moving right along to section 2, the spiritual blank canvas, non-duality and unity. Long before quantum physicists were out there measuring particles, ancient philosophies, things like Advaita Vedanta and the Mahayana Buddhist middle way, were already deeply tapped into this concept. They teach non-duality, basically the idea that there is no fundamental separation between things. The universe is just one unified whole. In this spiritual context, nothing refers to the lack of independent, isolated existence. You aren't separated from the universe, you literally are it. And everything describes that beautifully interdependent reality. It's the ultimate paradox of being. When you finally let go of your desperate grip on specific things, achievements, or egoic attachments, when you actually embrace that nothing, you suddenly experience this profound sense of completeness, peace, and unity with everything. Now, if that feels a little bit abstract, just hold on to the visual of a blank canvas. An artist staring at a blank canvas isn't looking at some void of despair. That canvas is nothing right now, yes, but because it's nothing, it holds the absolute potential to become everything. A masterpiece, a portrait, a landscape, the whole shebang. It all requires that initial emptiness to even exist. It's kind of like how silence is exactly what allows the music to be heard. Okay, let's shift gears a bit for section 3, the quantum vacuum. Physics of the void. Let's pivot from ancient spirituality over to cutting-edge science and see how this builds, because modern physics has arrived at almost the exact same conclusion. If we look at the cosmic timeline, step 1, in the very beginning there was no space, no time, no matter. Absolute nothingness. Then, step 2, we have what physicists call the quantum vacuum. And finally, step 3, the emergence of everything, the Big Bang, all matter, all stars, all of us. But that middle step, that is the absolute secret ingredient here. Science tells us that the entire universe emerged from that initial state of nothing. But in the realm of physics, nothing isn't actually empty. Let's demystify this a bit. When a physicist talks about a quantum vacuum, they're describing a space entirely devoid of matter. But, and this is a huge but, it is emphatically not empty. It's bubbling, it's boiling, it's totally filled with potential energy, constantly producing these virtual particle pairs. Particles literally pop into existence out of the void and then just annihilate each other. So scientifically speaking, nothing is actually incredibly busy. It's the buzzing, dynamic foundation of literally all reality. Absolutely wild, right?
Now for section 4, the cosmic bagel, a pop culture perspective. If you've seen that brilliant movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, you probably know exactly what this refers to. In the film, a character experiences the entire multiverse, every failure, every single success, literally all at once. And because she sees everything, it all sort of becomes this meaningless blur of nothing, total nihilism, which is represented by this giant black hole-like bagel. But the movie pulls off this absolutely incredible cinematic flip. It suggests that because nothing matters on a grand cosmic scale, it actually frees us up entirely. It means the small present moments, doing laundry and taxes with your family, or just a really small act of kindness, those moments become everything.
And that brings us to section 5, the eye of the storm, psychological calm. Let's zoom all the way in to you, the individual viewer. Think of your daily life as a literal hurricane of events. You've got emails, the news cycle, responsibilities, drama. It's completely overwhelming. It's everything flying at you all at once. And this brilliantly illustrates that in psychology, finding clarity and calm actually requires you to step right into the eye of that storm. By intentionally stepping back into nothing, maybe through a quick moment of silence, some deep breathing, or just a bit of detachment, you create the space needed to actually process all of that everything. You use the emptiness to digest the fullness.
So, the crucial point here, as we can see, is just how perfectly all 4 of these perspectives align. Whether we're talking about the spiritual realm, where the void of the no-self leads to unity, pure potential, where the silence of the canvas leads to literally all possibilities, emotional well-being, where detachment brings true peace, or even the movie lens, where cosmic meaninglessness gives birth to the supreme importance of the present moment. They all point to the exact same truth. The extremes bend and touch. Nothing and everything are beautifully, inextricably linked.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to carry with you today. Take a look at your own life right now. It's likely filled to the absolute brim with everything. But the peace, the potential, and the clarity you're seeking, they won't be found by just adding more things to the pile. So ask yourself, where can you carve out a little bit of nothing today? Find that blank canvas, step into the eye of the storm, and just see what emerges. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope you found some clarity in the void today.